Arcane is an animated action-adventure streaming television series created by Christian Linke and Alex Yee. It was produced by the French animation studio Fortic under the supervision of Riot Games and distributed by Netflix. Set in Riot's League of Legends fictional universe, it primarily focuses on Sisters Six and Jinx. The series was announced at the League of Legends' 10th anniversary celebration in 2019, and first released in November 2021. Following the conclusion of the first season, Riot Games and Netflix announced that a second season was in production for a post-2022 release. Arcane's first season was released to critical acclaim, with praise directed at its animation, story, world building, action sequences, characters, emotional weight, music and voice acting. Some have noted the series' appeal both to casual viewers who have never played League of Legends and to longtime fans of the game. It also set the record as Netflix's highest-rated series so far within a week of its premiere, ranked first on the Netflix Top 10 chart in 52 countries, and ranked second on the chart in the United States. Premise: amidst the escalating unrest between the rich, utopian city of Piltover and its seedy, oppressed underbelly of Zaun, Sisters Six and Jinx find themselves on opposing sides of a brewing conflict over clashing convictions and arcane technologies. Cast and characters. Main: Haley Steinfeld as Violet Six, Ella Purnell as Powder/Jinx, Mia Sinclair Jenis as Young Powder, Kevin Alejandro as Jace Talus, Katie Leung as Caitlin Kiraman, Molly Harris as Young Caitlin Kiraman, Jason Spisek as Silco, Tox Olagundoy as Mel Metterdaw, Harry Lloyd as Victor, J.B. Blanc as Vander, Reed Shannon as Echo, Miles Brown as Young Echo, Mick Wingard as Cecil B. Heimerdinger. Supporting: Amara Van as Sevica, Remy High as Marcus and Tobias Kiraman, Abigail Marlowe as Cassandra Kiraman and Eve, Yuri Lowenthal as Milo, Roger Craig Smith as Clagger, Josh Keaton as Deckard and Salo, Fred Tatasciore as Benzo, Bill Lobley as Huck, Sharat Akdashlu as Grayson, Brett Tucker as Singed, Mara Juno as Shola and Jules, Dave B. Mitchell as Vern, Haskell, and Harold, Mayavi as Finn, Erica Lindbeck as Elora, Ellen Thomas as Ambessa Metterdaw, Myra Furlan as Babette, Kimberly Brooks as Sky Young, Imagine Dragons as The Last Drop Band, JID as The Last Drop Band rapper, Ray Chen as orchestra concert soloist. Episodes. Production. Riot Games CEO Nicolo Laurent said it took 6 years to make the first season of Arcane. Arcane was first announced at the League of Legends' 10th anniversary celebration in 2019, and is set in Riot's League of Legends fictional universe. In September 2021, it was announced that Haley Steinfeld, Ella Purnell, Kevin Alejandro, Katie Leung, Jason Spisek, Tox Olagundoy, J.B. Blanc, and Harry Lloyd had joined the voice cast. On November 20, 2021, following the conclusion of Arcane's first season, Riot Games and Netflix announced that a second season was in production for a post-2022 release. Broadcast. Marketing. Riot Games promoted the launch of Arcane through events in their games, including League of Legends, Legends of Runeterra, Teamfight Tactics, League of Legends, Wild Rift, and Valorant as Riot x Arcane. It launched promotional collaborations with non-Riot games such as PUBG Mobile, Fortnite, and Among Us. On November 6, 2021, for the global premiere, Riot Games streamed the first episode on Twitch. Some content creators were allowed to co-stream the first 3 episodes of the series once they received permission from Riot Games, a first for a Netflix series, which also allowed viewers to retrieve in-game drops during the premiere. Drops were only included in the game's League of Legends, Wild Rift, Teamfight Tactics, Legends of Runeterra, and Valorant. The premiere received 1.8 million concurrent viewers on Twitch. On November 21, Netflix and Riot Games partnered with Secret Cinema to bring players directly into the world of Arcane with an in-person experience in Los Angeles, California. The experience was equipped with bespoke backstories and missions. The line between actors and audience is truly blurred as players explore the dark and dangerous underworld and encounter its inhabitants, the strange, the sinister, and sometimes even the friendly. Release. Originally set for a 2020 release, the show was rescheduled for a release in 2021 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. It was scheduled for a simultaneous November 6, 2021, release on Netflix and China's Tencent Video, with the series broken into 9 episodes, with 3 episode acts being released once a week over 3 weeks. Soundtrack. On November 20, 2021, songs from the first season were released on Amazon Music. The series had a different opening theme in China performed by Eason Chan. Reception. Critical reception. The review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes reported a 100% approval rating with an average rating of 9.10/10, based on 26 reviews. The site's critical consensus reads, "Arcane makes an arresting first impression, combining a spectacular mix of 2D and 3D animation with an emotionally compelling story to deliver a video game adaptation that could become legendary." The series also became Netflix's #1 program in November 2021, setting the record as Netflix's highest-rated series so far within a week of its premiere, ranked first on the Netflix Top 10 chart in 52 countries, and ranked second on the chart in the United States. Writing for IGN, Rafael Montemayor called the first season of Arcane a classic in the making, and the nail in the coffin of the so-called video game curse. He noted that the show worked for fans of League of Legends and newcomers, saying that the character stories are what keep you engaged episode after episode, the lore is just icing on the cake. He also praised the voice cast, highlighting the performances of Leung, Purnell, Akdash-Lu, and Steinfeld, calling the latter performance the show's standout. Praising the animation, Montemayor called it the most stunning piece of animation since Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse, and compared it to Invincible in terms of episode structure. He concluded by saying that Arcane delivers a killing blow to the idea that video games cannot be masterfully adapted, with compelling characters, an endearing story, and fascinating lore and world building, as well as striking visuals, calling it a once-in-a-generation masterpiece and giving it a 10 out of 10 rating. Andrew Webster of The Verge praised the fantasy meets steampunk world and how no knowledge of League was needed to understand the show. Despite calling Act 1 a fairly typical fantasy tale, he lauded the animation, saying that each frame looks like a gorgeous piece of hand-painted concept art, in motion. It's like nothing I've ever seen, and that it's also a world that feels lived in and fully realized. Matt Cabral of Common Sense Media called the first season visually stunning and that it features the sort of nuanced characterizations, thoughtful storytelling, and rich world building typically associated with big-budget, big-screen epics. He also took note of the blend of fantasy, steampunk, and sci-fi with emphasis on how the story puts a fresh spin on the heavily recycled premise. Cabral concluded that viewers didn't need to have played League to appreciate the show. Reviewing the first 4 episodes of the first season, Tara Bennett of Paste enjoyed the way that purposefully made an adult animated drama that unflinchingly utilizes violence, adult language, and very dark storylines when needed to make the lives of the large ensemble cast resonate. Bennett favorably compared the series to Game of Thrones, Shadow and Bone, Castlevania and BioShock. She was also positive about the nuance and subtle facial movements of Fortick's animation combined with the performances from Steinfeld, Jenis, Purnell, and Spisuk. Bennett called Enemy by Imagine Dragons infectious and that the show is the new benchmark for what can be done when it comes to successfully translating worthy video game universes into a different medium. Many publications noted that the series has been highlighted as one of the greatest video game adaptations.